It's a house based in Paris, so it's a real Parisian, house. I born in Paris. My parents come from Argentina, so I feel more Parisian than French actually, but I born in France. I made my study in France and I started 10 years ago in Paris, so it's really a Parisian house. The evolution of the business has been step by step, and it's growing. It's not a question to be kid or not, but for a company 10 years, it's okay. It's not an old company too. I had my eyes very attracted by art since when I was a kid, with movies and with musicals, and then I started to really like fashion, the shows in Paris and all the stuff. I started to dream of it. I was drawing a lot of shoes when I was a kid. The shoes are very important too in our business. We are designing the shoes since 5 years now, and it became a big part of creative process, but also business while it's a bigger market. It's totally helped me. It's close totally the silhouette. It's really me. It's really, really easy and fast for me. Much faster than the clothes actually. A shoes is an object. You design, but you work with people, with a factory. You have a fit and you just design on curves. And the clothes is alive. A fabric is always alive. And so you design something, but then to realize technically what you design, sometimes it's really another process. So it's been combined, and for me it's really great. I totally deal with both, but it's true, it's unusual. It's not a shoe to be with a show. It's a proper collection. When we present a show 2 weeks before, we already seen the new fabric for the next season. So it's always a turnover. We're constantly working on it. I like also to work with the talent of the producer of fabrics. For me, they give me inspiration too. It's very important. I travel, I see many exhibitions, so my head is always moving. And then when I have to draw, to communicate to my team, it's another process. You don't think in this business because you're working every day.
Client.
Yeah, always. We already start the process for the men's. Next week I go to Asia to do my shoes. So it's all in process. So it's a pleasure to present the day of the show something you really worked for a few months ago. Actually, it's abstract, what we prepare for the next show, of course. And today, it will bring me an energy and some messages that I will take to follow or not for the next season. So the show is really important. You have a collection, but how you edit it, how you style, how you build your silhouette for the show is something totally unexpected just 2 days before a show. So it's really important process. The market is worldwide. If I have to count only on France, it's a small country and I'm die. It's very cosmopolitan, Paris, you know. It's not French who are doing Paris. It's worldwide. They are coming and presenting their own vision of beauty. It's my city. But I'm very attracted by America. I have a link with America. I love to go there. I would love one day to do my show in New York. The theme for the show, it's a funny way to be very sexy and feminine. We kept a lot of humor in the silhouette, in the outfit. It was important because I think our time is quite severe. I see the other catwalk, the other show are quite severe, almost Nazi in a way, and I didn't want that. I wanted something more generous, something more warm, and with humor.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Alain Sandorens et nous sommes chez Sandorens, ma nouvelle formule.
Hello, my name is Alain Sandorens, and here we are at Chez Sandorens, my new restaurant. Previously, I called it Lucas Carton, and it had 3 Michelin stars.
Je suis un cuisinier qui cherche des idées toujours un peu différentes et surtout...
I'm a chef that is always looking for something a bit different. And in creating this concept of restaurant, I wanted to do something that works in this economic climate. Because 3-star Michelin restaurants are very flashy, very chic, and very expensive to run. With this new concept, we are much happier, and there is less overhead for us, and it is also less expensive for the client, so everybody wins.
Dans ma famille, on vivait pour lire et pour manger. Et la nourriture avait un côté sacré. Et la grand-mère, toutes les fins de semaine, on était 12 ou 14 chez ma grand-mère.
In my family, we lived to read and eat. Food was very much sacred. I remember when we were 12 or 14, eating at my grandmother's every weekend. I have wonderful memories of this, because of course memories are always embellished. But it had an influence on my becoming a chef, naturally, without really questioning myself.
Ici, quand j'ai pris cette décision, on avait des additions entre 300 et 400 euros. Et ça me travaillait, je trouvais pas ça normal. Et puis, en plus,
When I took the decision to change the style of the restaurant, we were charging 300 or 400 euros per person. And it was a philosophical problem for me. It was out of line with what is happening now. I thought, this is ridiculous. I was calling it the restaurant races to the stars. Each chef was spending an enormous amount of money to make their restaurant more luxurious and expensive. In hotels, it is possible. They can afford to lose money. But for an independent restaurant, it is not possible to continue with this trend.
J'ai la chance de voyager beaucoup. Et parfois, je peux m'inspirer d'une idée dans un pays où je sens les choses différentes. Et quand je reviens à Paris, je transforme ça à mon goût, au climat de Paris, etc. Mais je peux prendre des inspirations de partout. J'emploie des épices thaï, j'emploie du lait de coco, j'emploie de la citronnelle.
I'm lucky to travel a lot and be inspired by the things I discover. And when I am back in Paris, I adapt what I've seen to something that works here in Paris. I get inspired everywhere. I use Thai spices. I use pistachio, coconut milk, lemongrass, American corn, New Orleans-style sauces that I mix with French ingredients. I'm really already doing a bit of fusion cuisine. But it begins with an intellectual fusion. I really enjoy experimenting and mixing all these ingredients. But in the end, I judge it accordingly. It is either good or it's not.
It's only that.
I also work as a consultant for some industrial food companies, but I mostly enjoy to continually create and refine new dishes. I also own or partner in restaurants all over the world, but this I will keep to myself. I'm not interested in becoming a celebrity chef. I leave that to my students.
Nous allons voir une époque où la folie va se calmer un peu, je crois. Comme je pense que...
As for the future of gastronomy, we are entering a period when the extreme haute cuisine craziness is slowing down. There is an economic crisis in the world right now. People like to feel secure. There is a trend to go backwards. We went a bit too far with all the luxury and pomp fueled by big egos.
Je ne peux pas trop en parler parce que c'est la partie cachée de ma vie, je dirais. J'aime aller en Asie, pas seulement.
Asia is my secret garden. I like to go to Asia, not just to bring back new ideas for my cooking, but also for another reason, that I keep for myself. I like to meet gurus, and each time I meet them, I feel that I grow.
À l'époque, je faisais des steaks de biche. Il y a un client qui m'appelle. C'était un marchand de pierres précieuses. Il était avec deux courtisanes.
I can remember one funny moment when I was serving venison steaks on the menu. There was a client in my restaurant, a precious stone dealer, who came in with 2 escort girls. He called me to this table to tell me that the venison fillet I was serving was a cut from the knee. The escort girl said to me, "Don't worry about him, he's a bit silly. He has a lot of money, but he is stupid." The guy was so embarrassed that he left the restaurant.
We're the largest and the oldest family-owned company in the porcelain world. We've been established since 1863, so I'm 137 years old, although I probably look younger. The first company established in Limoges was the Manufacture Royale, created by the brother of the King, Louis XVI, in 1757. During centuries, Europeans had tried to manufacture porcelain, and they were importing it from mainland China. It was a very precious material at that time. The kings were keeping them in closed cabinets. It was very expensive. And suddenly, during the course of the 18th century, there was kaolin, which is the clay, the basic clay, very white, that is used in the manufacturing process of porcelain, that was found in Limoges and in Meissen, together with the fact that in this region, and especially in the Limoges one, you had huge forests that was providing the wood for the ovens. our trademark is Bernardo. We also have a branch which is the Manufacture Royale, which is the first company created in Limoges by the brother of the king, and that we bought it. We bought it.
When did you buy that?
15 years ago.
When did you become part of the history of Bernardo?
20 years ago.
Did you know you were going to be in the family business in the back of your mind?
No, not really. My father would never talk of his business when he was coming home, and to be honest, I had hardly visited more than 2 or 3 times the factory that belongs to my family before I joined it. I was in a business school in Paris. Was very happy there. Was a student. Afterwards. I started working in a company that was doing public construction. And one day, my father made me something that you call in Sicilia a proposal that you can't refuse, an offer that you can't refuse.
When was this? This
was in 1979. Pottery is one of the oldest industries created by man. So yes, there is production everywhere. One of our main tasks is to keep ourselves different, not only in terms of maintaining a very, very high quality, but also being capable of create new shapes, new designs that are very modern. And one of the things that we've done, be able to do that, is to work very closely with designers or artists of our time and give them free hands, more or less, to do whatever they feel that this should be done, for Bernardo. Well, and this is one of our good strengths.
Can you tell me some of the artists that work with you?
Buffet, Van Dongen. We've done some things with Roy Lichtenstein, with César, with George Siegel. We're working a lot now with Olivier Gagnère, Hervé van der Straten,
How do you
Martin
find these
Zekeli.
people? Do they come to you, or how does it work?
Well, it's by word of mouth, more or less, at the beginning, and now a lot of them come to us.
How different is an artist when he works with ceramics or a plate or your medium than when, say, Lichtenstein or one of these other artists is working with a canvas? Are they actually doing the print first on a canvas and then you're copying it onto the plate, or do they actually work on the plate itself?
Well, could be both. In most cases, we work from sketches on paper, and then we do first proof either in plaster or in porcelain, and we work together with the designer or the artist, and he say yes, no, or we say yes, no, because we say this is impossible to manufacture or difficult to manufacture, and maybe we should change it this way or that way, not too much. Or we can have the case of an artist coming to Limoges and working in our studios and with the molders, with the painters, and doing the first piece himself. That happened in the past. Absolutely. And what we're doing also is that we're starting a big program a few years ago to create a kind of Villa Médicis of porcelain in our main factory in Limoges. The factory where the company was founded in 1863. It's big buildings, some of them being not anymore in production, and instead of doing some real estate operation, what we've decided to do is to renovate those buildings, open them to the public, which we're doing step by step. So we have all the old workshops that people can visit and have a feeling of the history of the Limoges porcelain. And we are going to build also bedrooms, to host artists or students that will come and spend some time with us, to work on this material. If we were to send somebody from our quality control in the museum right now and check all the porcelain pieces that are in it, I would say 90% of it would be rejected
Really?
for the whiteware.
But of course, this was back then. They had rudimentary techniques.
Absolutely, and especially the firing was far less under control, the glazing as well. On the other hand, you were able in the past to get colors that you cannot get, or very hardly anymore now, because of the environmental laws. We cannot use lead anymore or cadmium in the colors, so the spectrum of colors that you have now is more limited than it was in the past. Working also with people that have their private airplanes. We found one day somebody that was very concerned with the weight of the plane. A dinner set of porcelain is not what is the most heavy on the plane, but still he wanted us to work on something to make it very, very as light as possible.
How the hell did you do that?
So we had to redo entirely, especially for him, all our mold to be able to produce plates or cups that would be probably that had probably 1/3 or 1/2 of the weight of the normal ones. Very high level of rejects because we had to eliminate a lot. But that was really a major task to achieve.
When I started, it was 30 years ago, I usually go to America, and the places where we usually found the best thing or the thing exciting were always downtown. So we had friends downtown, we had shops downtown, we had hotel downtown, so everything was more exciting downtown. A lot of people in France, they didn't speak English, so you can't imagine how complicated it was for them to say downtown. We had Dovetown, Dometown, Doomtown. Originally, I was studying in the university. I met some people who introduced me to something which is nothing with this, but which was for me a way to look at art. They explained to me that the only way to look at art and also the only way to be yourself is to really to believe in something that you feel, to try to find the link between something that you can admire in the museums and something that you can live on your own life every day. And that was exactly what I discovered when I found the first piece of Jean Prouvé. I didn't know even it was Jean Prouvé furniture, but it was something that I felt interesting. But there was a whole intention behind this. People really trying to be inventive, to be modern, to be totally different with also a culture of classical. Jean Prouvé started in 1925. Charlotte Perriand was also showing in 1925, 28. You imagine those people were so young and they were trying to look for something totally modern, but also which could be in the future considered like classic. And I think that's what I appreciate in their work. Charlotte Perriand was very friend with Fernand Léger. They were in relation with Sonia Delaunay, André Bloch. Jean Prouvé was more influenced by the context of his city. He was from Nancy. In Nancy, it was the famous Art Nouveau like Dôme, Gallet, Majorelle. at this period, industry, modernism was totally considered differently. The people were really considering industry like something which give hope, which give possibility of development, possibility of freedom. So Charlotte Perriand was excited by cars, technique, and also to find solution for a better life for a mass of people, which was totally the opposite before. So it was very linked also to the social movement. The bookcase I have in my bag, simple thing. It's made with ply metal and it's made with very simple wood. But what is interesting, it's called Cloud. The inspiration of the artist, Charlotte Perriand, did that. Also, you have a very simple technology, ply metal, which costs nothing, wood, nothing. But the whole thing all together, it's kind of a piece of sculpture. They were trying to make something beautiful, interesting, which is in relation with art for everybody. If you look at the minimalist artists in the 60s, all this is always linked with that kind of thing, and also to poesy. To call bookcase Cloud, yes, I think it's something which is very good. It was made in 1954. It's a unique piece. The highlight is that black table, 1953. What I love in that table, that's first of all, it's the principle of construction of Jean Prouvé. It's a little piece of architecture. You have the frame of the feet. It's exactly what you can find in the construction he usually make for his building. The top is in Formica, which is a very simple material at this time, resistant. But the whole thing altogether, you don't know which period it is from. The first example I had very strong is when I found the bookcase behind you. This bookcase they were made for the Maison du Mexique, designed by Charlotte Perriand, realized by the workshop of Jean Prouvé. And some were designed with Sonia Delaunay, who used to work on it. So you have Sonia Delaunay in every museum, and you have this piece of furniture, and there is something wrong. We have done, me and several other dealers who work on this, we have done a good job for the family, because we have really bought all these things and saved them, because most of them they were going to be destroyed, to be sold to in a thrift shop. The way, the inspiration, the color, the little detail, for me are very French. Because usually the Germans are a little bit more strict and a little bit less decorative. I think Jean Prouvé or Charlotte Perriand usually always use little details, colors, structure with some very refined detail, which make something a little bit different, like only a piece of design. It's a piece of something else. And I think that's the reason why it's also something very remarkable. When you know a piece of furniture of Jean Prouvé, you can recognize most of them, because there is always the same kind of inspiration. The first time I came in Paris, for example, in a university, pushed the door and saw 600 chairs by Jean Prouvé, 80 tables like this, like if you enter in a candle store. That kind of experience was really exciting, to see so many pieces all together, and which is incredible that 30 years after, I don't have any now.
today we're at Azzaro. We're at the Salon des Miroirs. My name is Matilde Castelo Branco. I'm Franco-Brazilian. This is my first experience as a DA. It's been a year. I'm living a dream every day. I'm dreaming with eyes open. I have a dream team and I have a dream job. So God bless you up there. My mother's a painter, and I've been always walking into her atelier, and I've been looking at the composition of her painting and thinking, all right, what do I want to do with colors? What do I want to do with balance? And I started taking everything in the house, cutting the curtains. I started taking all the objects and taking basket, putting it as a hat, and etc. and etc. And my mother just told me what she had to say was, Mathilde, move on, do it, go ahead. I don't mind if you're just making a mess of my atelier, just go on. I didn't do the fashion school in Brazil, although they have a very good one in São Paulo. I did my fashion school in Paris, and I came to Paris at 20 years old, and I stayed there because I loved the fashion school, and I absolutely adore Paris. So I'm really 50-50. I was extremely fan, absolutely fan of Christian Dior. The story of what he's done at the new look, I was totally in love with, and I think that was my first inspiration. Then of course Mr. Saint Laurent very much, and Mr. Lacroix. You said about ballerina, this is the second dream in my life. If I had two lives, my second life would be in the opera, dancing all day long. I thought, okay, what happens after a cocktail? So the night comes, then we take some champagne and there are fireworks. And I thought, okay, if I look at the fireworks in the sky, I would just like it to be eternal. I want the lights to fall on a dress. I want to take some diamonds in the sky and just to drop it on a dress, once again on the shoes, on the necklace, on a belt. I want to have the champagne in the heel of the shoes. I want to have the champagne on a dégradé of a dress. I just want to feel the party all over the body. Pure seduction, this is about life. I think that life is really turned by seduction, and it's not only seduction about a man and a woman, it's just emotion that passes through people, and that's the most important thing. And this is what I want to give in my job, is just to pass my emotion, and Azzaro is really about seduction. Azzaro really pushed me to be Brazilian more than ever. And it's interesting because I have a very big part of French touch in my culture, and my grandmother used to wear all the French houses dresses, and still Brazil gave me this kind of liberty, freedom, and I'm really finding it extremely interesting for Azzaro. Very happy, and she really is, I think, proud of me, but I'm very proud of having her and having my dad, because they really pushed me and they just told me, we trust you and go on, girl.
This is Cameron McClary from Budapest. Our main objective to discover and promote Hungarian artists. Since the beginning of the century, some cubist artists like Alfred Rett, abstract artists like Judith Reig and Simon Hantai. I used to work and live in Paris, and I started collecting art in Paris. I met a lot of living contemporary Hungarian artists who was living 20, 30, 40 years in Paris, and all those artists who I met, they inspired me, to not just collect, but also represent them and, do books, catalogs for them and promote them. Paris was really the center of everything after the turn of the century. All these artists who lived there, they were very original. They worked together with other artists who became very big, but they were in the same schools. Artists in Hungary, what I've seen, same for all the East European countries, the artists who stayed there, that distance and the Iron Curtain, slowed them down. So it was years and years and years when they reached that level or that art form. I worked in a museum in California, in San Diego, where I, really start falling in love with art. And after I got a job from the Hungarian government for Paris to work at the Institut, the Hungarian Institute, to organize exhibition for artists and, try to promote them. So I lived in Paris for a while. I went to a lot of openings here and there. I met other Hungarians, I met collectors, and of course I met artists, because of my work. And there was two artists who was, they French meant a lot to me. One name is Tibor Xernus, the other is Etienne Sándorfi. And both of them I still represent, both of them died recently in the last few years. Both of them figurative artists, but they gave me so much insight into the art and into the method of paintings. Sándorfi, we were very good friends for 8 years. And we were always joking, if I have a gallery one day, I would probably represent him. And before he died, he gave me a very big push because he broke his contract with his American gallery and he came to my gallery when I just opened my gallery. So I started to understand how the artwork has to work, You have to be international, you have to promote the artist with publication, and you have to be in contact with museums. Try to organize exhibitions for your artist. Judith Reig, I met her 7 years ago. It took me 3 years just to meet her. She doesn't really meet people. She lives outside of Paris, like 25 kilometers, very modestly, 25 square meter little studio, and she paints at the atelier. She's 88, but she's climbing a ladder every day still. When I started to work with her, there was no interest whatsoever for her work. She had a gallery before, but they never showed the early works, the 50s, which is, I think, it's astonishing. And when I started to work with her, it was quite difficult because I was selling paintings. Like in Art Paris, I had a very nice couple. They fell in love with one of the large paintings, I showed there from Judith. And they brought the money. And Judith told me, who's these people? I want to talk to them. The new collectors. I had to talk with her an hour and a half. She wanted to make sure, if it's going to the right place, what other paintings they have, where they're going to put it in their house. So she got the layout of the house, what, their collection about. And after over an hour talk with them, she said, these are nice people, I can sell to them. And still, up until today, if I have a collector interested, she wants to know everything. She lived all of her life in poverty. She doesn't need money. Nobody was really interested in her works for so many years, and when I met her, she was already 82. So the only important things for her in life, and what is keeping her alive, that she's still working, and her paintings, where they're gonna go. But in the last 7 years, her paintings went to major museums like Metropolitan, Tate Modern, Guggenheim, the Centre Pompidou is going to do a separate exhibition for him. So now she's trusting me very much, and she's always, calling me every day, to discuss the smallest matter about her art. I'm preparing a book on Simon Hantai, which is, I think, one of the greatest painters in France in the 20th century, the second half. It took me 8 years just to meet him. He came to Paris 1948. He was a surrealist painter first and after abstract painter. And in 1982, he won the Venice Biennale for France. And he thought the art trade is so commercial now, he doesn't want to deal with it. So in 1982, he finished painting. He closed his oeuvre and he didn't work anymore. Only philosophical writings, but didn't do any more paintings. So it took me 8 years just to meet him. I tried to persuade him to publish a book for him. So he received me, seen me, and after, he just, pulled the time, and he wasn't very interested. But, Centre Pompidou wanted to do at least 2 times big retrospective exhibition for him. They started, and he cancelled it in the meantime. Also, the Hungarian National Gallery wanted to do a big exhibition, and he cancelled it. He died 3.5 years ago, and now the family realized, it's very important to do books. So I'm publishing my first book on Hantai right now from the works between 1949 and 1959, which is the first period when he came to Paris. And after, from 60, he did a very different so-called pliage technique up until 82. But this period, very, very unknown for collectors and for museums. There's a few museum pieces in Centre Pompidou and other places, Guggenheim, but very few. Most of the people in France or in the States know some of these works after 1960. So this book's going to be a big revelation. I find marvelous paintings in private collection, which been there for 50 years. So nobody's seen it, and we're just about to publish it. I just find a very young South Korean artist in Paris. A friend of mine exhibited her 6 months ago. I went to the opening, and I just fell in love with the painting I bought for, and I proposed her an exhibition in Hungary, which after 2 months I made it. It was very successful, commercially too, and also I exhibited at Brafa in January, and it's going very well. But I see so many artists coming to me, presenting their works, and I try to keep the distance. A lot of artists who's very commercial. They really do it for the living. But the true artists, they do it because they're born to do it. It's no question if they don't make money or if they make money with it, doesn't matter. It's they're pure in heart, and the most important thing, to create something, to channel that energy or gift what they got, through their art. I know a lot of artists, they measure themselves how much they sell their paintings. And that, for me, it's not what it should be about.